So let's talk about buying bottled water in Mexico. Everybody knows that you can't drink the tap water in Mexico. Bad idea. But there are a couple of options for buying bottled water, which is very common, or getting purified water at your house. And that's what we're talking about in this video. I'm Brighton, and I want you to move to Mexico before you retire, before you turn 65. So if that's something you're thinking about, be sure to click the subscribe button and the little bell icon to get notified of future videos. So some people down here have purified water systems built into their house. A number of gringos have this, and the systems can do a great job and provide you with a never-ending supply of purified water. I have one here at my house, but I'm a little nervous. I know all the parts need to get replaced, and I'm not sure I would do a good job of keeping up with it. They cost about $500, and they can even put the water into your refrigerator so you can make ice. We'll be talking more about ice in this video. But in this video, the way that I do it is I buy these, they call them garrafones of water, and let's talk about how you too can get your bottled water in Mexico. All these jugs are the same size. They're all 5-gallon jugs, and that works out to 40 pounds, and they can be a little tricky to put into the dispenser, so that can be a challenge, or to carry upstairs. I've seen some people who it's hard to handle these big jugs buying smaller jugs and maybe working with that. It's definitely more expensive to buy it in a smaller quantity, so we're going to be talking about these guys here. And if you're okay hauling these things to your place but don't want to flip them over like that, you can get a pump. So they make them of differing qualities. And you can also get these dispensers like this. I love these ceramic dispensers. This one here came from Ibarra's Pottery here in La Paz. So if you're in La Paz, definitely check out her stuff. So the way this works for all the different methods that I'm going to be talking about today is the first time you buy one of these containers, you're putting a deposit down. Essentially, you're buying the jug, and then you're either returning the jug and getting it refilled. Now, the good news is that these are not nearly as expensive in Mexico as they are in the United States. I went to a Home Depot in the US and found the price to be $7 to buy the jug, and then another $7 to refill it. Prices down here, much less expensive. To buy the jug is about $5, but the cost to refill it is going to be different for each of the options that I show you today. Everybody in Mexico is familiar with the Oxxo stores. They're on every corner. They're like 7-Eleven in Mexico, but they're just even more prolific. And all of them sell these jugs of water. And you can bring your old jug in, just put it on the shelf and grab one from the same brand and pay for it at the counter. Very simple. Price here is about $1.50 per jug. So the way I get my water is to go to a local shop. So I take my jugs in and I go to a local shop just down the street here, put them all in the back of my car and drive on down. And the folks there, they own a purification system that can do massive amounts of water. And at that shop, they are just 12 pesos for a refill, which works out to be about 60 cents per 5-gallon jug of water. And I've never had any problems with this water. I was nervous the first time I bought there, but there's a number of places you can probably get these as cheap as maybe 10 pesos at one of these shops, and they might go up to 15 or 18 pesos. This is nice. You take them in there, they just wash them off and refill them. They can even reuse those little plastic caps, which is just frustrating to me to have all those plastics that are not reusable anywhere else. So they'll reuse those caps and you'll have your water. You can also buy ice at each of these plants. And like I said, we'll talk more about ice later on. So there are also guys in pickup trucks that drive around, and they usually have a loudspeaker that is broadcasting a message that's on a recording. And so they drive around really slow, and if you need a container of water, you can run out to the street and buy a container of water from them, do your swap with them. I did this only once. They were coming down the street here, and I was like, I just got to see how much this costs. And it was 50 pesos, which is $2.50. I think I got a gringo price on that. I think most of these guys just go over to the 12 peso place. Maybe they get a special deal even because they buy a whole truckload full, and then they just drive around looking for people that need this. And this is pretty common in Mexico. There's another guy that drives around with LP gas if you need that, or any other service or product that you might want, you'll often find people driving around with a loudspeaker offering that to you. And when we first arrived in Mexico, we actually signed up with, well, we didn't sign up, but we called a service. And this was a big truck that came by our house and would bring the water when we needed it. So we would text the local delivery guy the day before we wanted water, and it was specific, like which days of the week he was delivering in our community. And then he would come by, and you can actually pay for this. You can pay them directly, but you can leave the money underneath one of the empty containers. Just fill up one of the empty containers just a little bit with some water from your garden hose to keep it from blowing over. But then you can leave the money for them, and they just can come into your place and leave behind the full containers, take away the empties. This was a little more expensive. I want to say it was like 25 pesos, so $1.25 plus a tip for the folks who were coming by. Now, I think we got in a little trouble with our delivery guy because Monday was one of the delivery days, and so I would text him on Sunday saying, "Hey, I'd love to get some water tomorrow," and that is a cultural no-no, is doing business on a Sunday. Even though the way I think of it is, he would just check that on Monday morning. People feel an obligation to reply. And Sunday is definitely family time. So that's kind of a little extra lesson there. What I found was it just was a little bit of a pain in the butt to have to text somebody and then maybe he would show up, maybe not, versus just throwing things in the car, driving half a mile down the street and working with the nice women over at the shop down the street. So ice, I mentioned ice. Ice is safe in Mexico. For the most part, everyone is buying their ice from these people that sell the purified water. And so they're buying it by the bag. The only thing that I've seen that was questionable once was here in La Paz outside one of the more reputable restaurants. I saw one of the folks take their bag of ice from inside, but it was like kind of frozen. And they took it out to the sidewalk out front and threw it on the ground. I do that here at my house, but I was a little uncomfortable seeing that done in a restaurant. I'm not sure how else you would break apart the ice though. So it was effective. That's probably the worst thing I've seen in terms of proper handling of ice. But don't worry about it. If it's in your drink, then you should be good. Now, the lesson, we haven't done a lesson here in a while, so I'm going to throw in a quick lesson. And that is the word for ice in Spanish is hielo. And it's a little bit hard from the spelling, what we see in English and how you pronounce it. So you can maybe get your drinks con hielo or sin hielo. So with or without ice. And now that you've saved money on buying water in bulk like this, you should check out and make sure that you're not getting screwed at the ATM machine and paying too much fees there. So check out this video up here that I have about ATM fees in Mexico, or check out one of these other videos from my channel. See you in the next video.